The boy's shoulders shook violently as sobs racked his small frame, his tears falling onto the polished wooden floor of Judge's courtroom. Every person in that Providence courthouse held their breath, transfixed by the raw emotion pouring from this child who couldn't have been more than 12 years old. His mother reached for his hand, her own eyes glistening, but he pulled away, not in defiance, but in shame so profound it seemed to crush him under its weight. "I'm sorry," he choked out between gasps. "I'm so sorry. I've been covering Judge's courtroom for 15 years, and I thought I'd seen everything. Traffic violations, parking disputes, petty infractions, the mundane machinery of municipal court grinding through its daily business. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared me for what I was about to witness on that cold February morning." The gallery was packed, as it often was in Judge's courtroom. People didn't just come for their own cases. They came to watch justice tempered with compassion, to see a judge who treated every person who stood before him with dignity and respect. But today, the usual hum of whispered conversations had fallen into complete silence. The boy, I would later learn his name was Marcus Williams, stood trembling before the bench, his oversized jacket hanging off his thin shoulders like a tent. His sneakers, worn and splitting at the seams, squeaked against the floor as he shifted his weight nervously. His mother, Sarah Williams, stood beside him, one hand pressed against her mouth, fighting back her own tears. Judge leaned forward, his kind eyes studying the boy with an intensity that wasn't harsh, but searching, trying to understand the story written in every line of tension across Marcus's young face. "Son," the judge said gently, his voice carrying through the silent courtroom like a lifeline thrown to a drowning person, "I need you to tell me the truth. Can you do that for me?" Marcus nodded, unable to speak, his chest heaving with the effort of controlling his sobs. The case before the court seemed straightforward on paper. Marcus Williams had been caught stealing from a local grocery store, the third time in 2 months. The store owner, Mr. Chen, sat in the front row, his arms crossed, his face set in hard lines of frustration and disappointment. He'd been patient, he'd been understanding, but enough was enough. He wanted justice. He wanted this to stop. But as I watched Marcus struggle to compose himself, as I saw his mother's hand tremble as she tried to steady her son, I knew there was more to this story. Much more. "Take your time," Judge said, his tone patient and warm. "There's no rush here. When you're ready, I want you to tell me what happened, all of it. The truth." Marcus wiped his nose on his sleeve, took a shuddering breath, and began to speak. His voice was barely above a whisper at first, forcing everyone in the courtroom to lean forward, straining to hear. "I took the food," he said, his voice cracking. "All 3 times. I took bread and peanut butter and some fruit. I didn't want to, but I—" Fresh tears streamed down his face, and his mother let out a soft, broken sound that pierced right through me. I found myself gripping my pen tighter, my own throat constricting with emotion. "Why, Marcus?" Judge asked, his voice so gentle it felt like a father talking to his son. "Help me understand why you did this." The boy looked up at his mother, seeking permission, or perhaps forgiveness. Sarah Williams nodded through her tears, squeezing his shoulder in encouragement. "My little sister," Marcus began, his voice stronger now, driven by something deeper than fear, love, pure and fierce. "Emma, she's 7. She's been so hungry." The courtroom seemed to collectively hold its breath. "My mom works 3 jobs, Marcus continued, the words tumbling out now like water breaking through a dam. "She leaves before we wake up and comes home after we go to bed most nights. She's trying so hard, but the money, there's never enough money." Sarah Williams covered her face with both hands, her shoulders shaking. I could see Mr. Chen's expression beginning to shift, the hard lines softening. I tried to make the food last, Marcus said, his voice rising with desperation, with the need to make us understand. I'd eat less so Emma could have more. I'd tell her I wasn't hungry even when my stomach hurt so bad I couldn't sleep. But it wasn't enough. She started getting so tired all the time. She couldn't focus in school. She'd cry at night because her stomach hurt. Judge removed his glasses, pinching the bridge of his nose. When he looked back at Marcus, I could see the moisture in his eyes. "So you took the food for your sister," the judge said quietly. "Yes, sir," Marcus whispered. "I knew it was wrong. I knew I was stealing. But I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't watch her be hungry anymore. I tried to only take a little bit. I tried to take things no one would notice. But Mr. Chen caught me, and I deserved it. I deserved to be punished." The boy straightened his shoulders then, trying to appear brave, trying to accept whatever consequence was coming his way. But his lip trembled, and another tear escaped down his cheek. "I'm the man of the house when Mom's at work," Marcus continued, his voice filled with a maturity no 12-year-old should have to possess. "I'm supposed to take care of Emma. I'm supposed to protect her, and I failed. I couldn't even feed her without stealing." The last word broke on a sob, and Marcus dissolved into tears again, this time not bothering to hide them. The weight of responsibility, of guilt, of desperate love for his sister, it all came pouring out in a torrent of grief that left no one in that courtroom unmoved. I glanced around and saw hardened courthouse bailiffs wiping their eyes. The stenographer's hands had stilled on her machine. Even the prosecutor looked away, clearing his throat roughly. Sarah Williams finally spoke, her voice thick with tears and shame. "Your Honor, this is my fault. All of it. I've been working myself to death trying to keep us afloat since my husband passed away 2 years ago. I thought I was doing the right thing, working every shift I could get. But I didn't see what it was doing to my babies." She turned to Marcus, cupping his face in her hands. "Baby, you should never have had to do this. Never. This is on me, not you." "No, Mom," Marcus protested. "You're doing everything you can. You're amazing. I just wanted to help." Judge stood up from his bench, an unusual move that made everyone sit up straighter. He walked around to the front, closer to Marcus and his mother, breaking the formal barrier that usually separated judge from defendant. "Mr. Chen," Judge said, turning to the store owner, "I'd like to hear from you." Mr. Chen stood slowly, and I braced myself. He had every right to be angry, to demand full prosecution. His store operated on thin margins. 3 incidents of theft could not be ignored. But when Mr. Chen spoke, his voice was soft. "Your Honor, I didn't know. When I called the police, I didn't know why this boy was stealing. I thought—" He paused, struggling with his own emotions. "I thought he was just another kid doing wrong. But I see now. I see this is a good boy who loves his sister." He turned to Marcus directly. "I have children too, son. If they were hungry, I would hope they would have someone as brave as you to look after them." Marcus looked up, shocked, fresh tears streaming down his face. Judge nodded, taking a deep breath. "Marcus, what you did was against the law. Do you understand that?" "Yes, sir," Marcus said immediately. "And do you understand that stealing, no matter the reason, is not the right way to solve problems?" "Yes, sir, I know. I just didn't know who to ask for help. I was scared they'd take us away from Mom if anyone knew we were struggling. I was scared Emma would go to foster care." The words hung in the air, revealing the terrible calculation this child had made. Better to break the law than risk losing his family. Judge closed his eyes briefly, and when he opened them, they shone with determination and something else, hope. "I'm going to make a ruling now," he said, his voice carrying through the courtroom with authority. "But first, I want to say something to you, Marcus Williams, and I want you to listen carefully. The boy nodded, standing straighter. "You are not a criminal," Judge said firmly. "You are a child who found himself in an impossible situation and made a choice out of love for your sister. That doesn't make what you did right, but it makes you human. It makes you compassionate. It makes you brave." More sniffles echoed through the gallery. I saw the court clerk dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. "However," the judge continued, "we need to address this properly. So here's what's going to happen. First, this case is dismissed." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Mr. Chen nodded approvingly. "Second," Judge continued, "I'm ordering you to complete 20 hours of community service, but you'll be doing it at a local food bank, learning about the resources available in this community to help families in need." Marcus nodded vigorously, relief flooding his features. "Third, and most importantly, I'm going to make sure you and your family get connected with social services, food assistance programs, and community resources that exist to help families like yours. Your mother shouldn't have to work 3 jobs to feed her children. That's not the American dream. That's a nightmare, and we're going to help fix it." Sarah Williams burst into tears, this time tears of relief and gratitude. "Thank you," she sobbed. "Thank you so much." But Judge wasn't finished. He turned to the gallery, to all of us witnessing this moment. "I want everyone in this courtroom to remember something," he said, his voice passionate now. "We are all one bad day, one tragedy, one twist of fate away from being in the position this family found themselves in. We judge each other so quickly, so harshly, without knowing the struggles people face behind closed doors." He looked back at Marcus. "This boy showed more courage, more love, and more selflessness than most adults I see in this courtroom. He sacrificed his own integrity, risked his own freedom to care for his little sister. That's not criminal. That's heroic." The courtroom erupted in spontaneous applause. Marcus looked around in shock, unable to process that these strangers were clapping for him, celebrating him instead of condemning him. Mr. Chen approached the bench. "Your Honor, if I may," Judge nodded. "I would like to offer Mrs. Williams a job at my store," Mr. Chen said. "Part-time, flexible hours so she can be with her children more. And Marcus, I would like you to come by the store this weekend. I have some volunteer work you can do, and I will pay you fairly for your time. You can also take home any food that would otherwise be thrown away at the end of the day." Sarah Williams could barely speak through her tears. "Mr. Chen, we don't deserve—" "Yes, you do," Mr. Chen interrupted gently. "Everyone deserves a chance. Everyone deserves help when they need it. I should have seen sooner that something was wrong. I'm sorry I didn't." Judge smiled, the first genuine smile since the hearing began. This is what our community should be about, taking care of each other, lifting each other up. He turned back to Marcus. "Young man, I want you to promise me something." "Anything, Your Honor," Marcus said eagerly. "Promise me that you'll always remember that asking for help is not weakness, it's wisdom. Promise me that you'll use your experience to help others who might be struggling the way you were. And promise me that you'll finish school, work hard, and make your father proud." At the mention of his father, Marcus's face crumpled again. But these tears were different. Tears of healing, of relief, of gratitude. "I promise," he said, his voice steady despite the tears. "I promise all of that. And, Your Honor?" "Yes, son?" "Thank you for seeing me. For really seeing me. Not just as a kid who stole, but as a person." Judge stepped forward and did something I'd never seen him do before. He embraced the boy, holding him as Marcus cried into his shoulder, releasing all the fear, all the shame, all the terrible burden he'd been carrying alone. "You're going to be okay," the judge whispered, but his voice carried through the silent courtroom. "Your family is going to be okay. I'm going to make sure of it." When they separated, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. The bailiff, a gruff ex-Marine who'd worked in the courthouse for 30 years, was openly weeping. The prosecutor had turned away, his hand over his face. Even the most jaded court regulars, the lawyers who'd seen it all, stood with tears streaming down their faces. As the Williams family prepared to leave, Judge called out one more time, "Marcus, wait!" The boy turned back. "You said you're the man of the house, that you have to protect your sister. But you know what real strength is? Real strength is knowing when to accept help. Real strength is admitting when you need support. You're 12 years old. You shouldn't have to be the man of the house yet. You should be a kid. So let the adults help you now, okay?" Marcus nodded, and for the first time since he'd entered the courtroom, he smiled. It was small, tentative, but it was real. As they walked out, Sarah Williams holding both her son's hand and Mr. Chen's business card, the courtroom slowly came back to life. But something had changed. Everyone who had witnessed what happened in those moments felt it. A shift, a reminder of what justice could be when tempered with compassion, understanding, and love. I've been a court reporter for 15 years, and I've written thousands of articles about legal proceedings. But this story, this moment, reminded me why I chose this profession. Justice isn't just about laws and punishments. It's about seeing the humanity in every person who stands before it. It's about understanding that sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is admit they need help. Judge showed us all that day that true justice doesn't just punish wrongdoing. It heals communities, restores dignity, and gives hope to those who have lost it. As I walked out of the courthouse that afternoon, I heard someone say, "That judge should be on the Supreme Court." Maybe. But Providence is lucky to have him right where he is, making a difference one life, one family, one heartbroken child at a time. Marcus Williams walked into that courtroom as a boy, crushed by the weight of responsibility and shame. He walked out with his head held high, surrounded by a community that had rallied to lift him up. That's not just justice, that's grace, that's hope, that's humanity at its finest. And that is a story that will stay with everyone who witnessed it for the rest of their lives.